When Donald J. Trump won the presidential election in 2016, it caused quite a stir around the world. Liberals were shocked and pissed, and conservatives were elated. Since then, things have been a little, rocky here in America. The battlegrounds have been drawn among liberals and conservatives. Both sides have vowed to win upcoming elections and take charge of the near future of American politics. Based on the turnout of the next election, America might have its political fate determined for the next generation. To determine the most conservative states in America, we needed to look at voting patterns, recent laws and policies, and where people have shown red tendencies. It's not that hard to figure out, actually. And we doubt there will be any surprises on this list. Remember, in 40 states, there's more conservatives than liberals. But in the states where liberals are a majority, there's more people, at least for the most part. So put down your gun, stop watching Fox News for a few minutes, and grab a Budweiser as we take a conservative cruise through America. Our first conservative pit stop begins in a battleground for energy reform, West Virginia. According to the Cook Partisan Voting Index, West Virginia ranks 5th in the nation in terms of how strongly a state leans Republican. Now, West Virginia used to be a deep blue state, but now it's very ruby red. In '92, Clinton won the state by 13 points, but then Trump came in 24 years later and crushed it. West Virginia had a higher percentage of residents vote for Trump in the 2016 election than in any other state. 2 in 3 residents in West Virginia picked Trump, which was even higher than Wyoming and North Dakota. Most of that had to do with the energy debate. Over the last couple decades, environmentalists have crushed the coal industry to death here, meaning a large part of the population has seen jobs and their livelihoods wiped away. West Virginia is the only state in the nation that's seen its population go down. Trump came into the scene and promised to be favorable to the oil and coal industry if elected, and West Virginians responded in droves. It'll be interesting to see if he follows through on his promise. But right now, this state is red-hot conservative. Arkansas comes in 9th on our list. According to a recent Gallup poll, Arkansas Republicans hold a 28% lead over Democrat voters. That's the 7th highest conservative advantage in the nation. Now keep in mind, Arkansas is home to Bill Clinton, who was one of the only Democratic presidents elected in the last 40 years. Clinton sure couldn't carry Arkansas today. His wife got crushed here by a wide margin. Remember that, America? Look at this chart. It's getting more and more red in Arkansas every presidential election year. Not good news if you're a lib. And it seems that God, guns, and gays are going to continue to drive people to vote R in droves in places like Arkansas. Where's the 8th most conservative state in America? Utah. Utah and Oklahoma tie with the least number of blue counties in their states, 0. Utah has a very high Mormon population, which is the most conservative religious group in the nation. Utah, along with Alaska and Arizona, has the most lenient gun laws in the nation too. The cost of living's low here and taxes are mild. Companies are ditching places like California in order to relocate in a more corporate-friendly environment. Are things working out for Utah? Sounds like it. Utah has some of the nation's lowest crime, little debt, low homelessness, and very little racism. But a big part of Utah's growth is because it's easy to get around here. Well-maintained roads across this desolate land mean people can thrive. So you won't see Utah residents protesting oil pipelines anytime soon. Right next door to Utah is the very red state of Idaho. Americans seem to agree. According to what people are Googling, more people think Idaho is Republican than anywhere else in the country. Idahoans have selected Republicans in the last 8 election cycles. In fact, the last time Idaho voted for a Democratic president was 1964. Remember Barry Goldwater?
We see violence in the streets, in our cities and suburbs. I say it is time to put conscience back in government, and by good example, put it back in all walks of American life.
In your heart, you know he's right. Vote for Barry Goldwater.
Idahoans are loners. This was the last American state to be explored by settlers, and it has a history in individualist industries like mining and farming.
In a mine.
It's underpopulated, vastly wild, hard to reach, and isolated. And Idaho likes it that way. Whether it's fish and game agents regulating hunting or Uncle Sam taking away their hard-earned cash, Idahoans tend to mistrust anything coming out of Washington, D.C. Plus, like Utah, there's a lot of Mormons in Idaho. There's probably still people driving around Idaho with Ollie North bumper stickers on their cars. Or you'll see a few of these around too. We continue our tour of the most right-leaning states in our great nation with a southern turn in Louisiana. Louisiana is in the top 5 in terms of oil production. No surprise there. If you're an anti-oil hippie protester, you'll stand out like a sore thumb in Louisiana. Louisiana has a state income tax, but Republicans are trying to change that. Louisiana is also a right-to-work state and isn't ruled by unions. Louisiana's unemployment rate is well below the national average, too. All of this is helping to make Louisiana even more red than it was previously. Marijuana laws are very strict here, and you can imagine that one day, when the entire country makes pot legal, Louisiana will remain vigilant and opposed to legalizing weed. Sadly, Louisianans are notoriously racist. New Orleans ranks 3rd in the nation for number of racist tweets each year. And Louisiana ranks 1st in the number of sexist tweets as well. Not to be outdone, they measured 1st in the number of anti-fat tweets too. What's going on in Louisiana anyways? You guys are freaking Twitter bullies. Oklahoma puts the O in GOP. You could drive across all the prairies of Oklahoma and you wouldn't see a blue county in the entire state. A lot of people outside of Oklahoma might be surprised to hear that the Sooner State's 3rd in the nation for energy production. However, when a state relies so heavily on energy and prices and demand drops, you have a budget shortfall. That happened in Oklahoma before, and it impacts politics here. Do you remember a while back when Barack Obama said transgender students could go to the bathroom wherever they wanted? But not in Oklahoma. No siree. Oklahoma decision makers wanted to impeach Obama for that one. Yeah, that's pretty far right. North Dakota has the nation's 2nd highest conservative advantage. 31% more North Dakotans identify as conservative than liberal. And like nearby Montana, it's getting even more red here. The fact that North Dakota has just 1 abortion clinic speaks to how socially conservative this state is. In terms of oil production, North Dakota is 3rd in the nation, behind only Alaska and Texas. And oil production is growing even more. They can't stand out-of-state hippies in North Dakota at all. Not when the oil industry has helped pad the state budget by billions, even though they've doubled the size of the state budget spend. North Dakota enjoys one of the nation's lowest unemployment rates too. So whatever they're doing here, it's working. Way down in Mississippi. Woo-wee, this is a hardcore conservative state. Mississippi residents are against undocumented workers more than any other southern state. They're more hesitant than their southern neighbors to heal race relations, and they're more likely than any other state in this region to approve of gay marriage. Republicans have a 30% edge in support for voters. That's huge. Mississippi hasn't elected a Democratic president to office since Jimmy Carter in 1976. Haley Barbour, Trent Lott, and Blanche Bruce are notable Republicans from Mississippi. You don't know who Blanche Bruce is? Then you don't know politics, pal. They don't care about global warming down here in Mississippi. Did you know Mississippi's the poorest state in the nation? That's part of the problem with conservatism in the South. There's a huge poverty gap, teen pregnancy rates are high, and roads and schools are in bad shape. So while these deep southern states are way conservative in their policies, it seems that a large part of the population and everything else is being neglected here. We go right next door to our Republican runner-up. Alabama ranks 4th in the nation for the biggest gap between conservatives and liberals. Like Mississippi and Idaho, Alabama has voted for Republican presidential candidates in the last 8 elections. The majority of Alabamans believe that the role of government is to protect the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Alabama also passed House Bill 56 in 2011, which is totally anti-illegal immigrant. HB 56 means that if the police think you might be an illegal immigrant, they can detain you. Not only can you not work here if you're not from here, you can't get welfare or go to a public school either. Harsh. Hello, Wyoming. Our number 1 conservative state in the whole America. Wyoming leads the nation by far in terms of the widest gap between conservatives and liberals at 35%. Wyoming residents consistently elect hard-right conservatives to Washington every year, and it's getting more and more conservative as the years go by. This state has no income tax, but enjoys budget surpluses every year. The state also ranked 1st in the nation for being business-friendly. It has a low unemployment rate, and it's enjoying an oil and natural gas production boom. Wyoming has by far the lowest abortion rate in the US and the highest gun ownership rate in the nation too. Plus, Wyoming's like 99% white, and we all know how white people tend to vote. Wyoming's an isolated, leave me alone unless you need me, don't take away my stuff kind of place, which goes for many of the other states we talked about. In large cities where we're densely populated, we focus on getting along with each other and emphasize collective interests. Not in places like Wyoming, North Dakota, and Idaho. Government policies those states are increasingly compelled to oppose are the ones that cause them to lose their health insurance, feel subject to government spying, pay more for their electricity bill, lose their jobs, or wonder if America's borders are actually secure in an increasingly tumultuous world. As Americans continue to battle over education and healthcare reform, gender equity, and even the damn wall, it'll be interesting to see if these trends hold up for the next 8 presidential elections. God bless America. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.